you never said that before. Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, it's going to be the first portion of a small little recipe series that I'm going to do for you guys to help you create your vegan Thanksgiving at home. Now, I got the idea to do this video series from a client of mine who will be hosting her first whole food plant-based Thanksgiving. So I thought, what a great series to put together for you guys. I'm starting early, it's mid-October, and I'm gonna have lots of things that you can have at your Thanksgiving dinner. But if it's really close to Thanksgiving and you're watching this for the first time, just searching for recipes, this is going to be the main portion of your meal. This is going to be what I might substitute the turkey portion of my meal with. I'm not a huge fan of the processed fake meat turkeys. I think that just mostly sounds kind of gross to me. But then of course you need some kind of main dish to have at your Thanksgiving meal. So this Thanksgiving lentil loaf is very different from the other lentil loaf that I have up on my channel. I love the way that this turned out because there's lots of fresh herbs in it, and I really feel that that makes it. I use things like fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, fresh parsley, and to me those are all, as they mix together, give you a real kind of hearty home Thanksgiving kind of feel to your meal. So I wanted to do this Thanksgiving lentil loaf with a really lovely gravy as the first installment of this series for you guys, so that you can at least have some kind of main dish to offer up. Now, of course, if you're inviting people over who are meat eaters or who don't understand why you're eating a vegan diet or understand why you're eating a whole food plant-based diet to begin with, then these are just things that you can introduce to them. They can bring the food that they want to your house. You can always have that as a suggestion, but the purpose of all these recipes will give you some ideas of things that you can eat on your whole food plant-based diet, and you never know who you could possibly influence just by cooking some good meal for your loved ones. So let's get into my Thanksgiving lentil loaf with a lovely gravy. If you enjoyed this recipe, make sure you give the video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming vegan Thanksgiving recipe ideas that I have coming out for you guys. The full recipe for this meal will be down in the description below so that you're able to follow it step by step as you make it. And the first thing that I'm doing is just chopping the veggies to saute them. And I'm using a little bit of better than bouillon here and a little bit of water to saute the onion and garlic for just a couple of minutes. I ended up needing to add a little bit more water so that they didn't stick to the pan. So that's always something to just watch for. Adding the carrots after a few minutes and then just sauteing it. And then in a food processor, you're just going to put the majority of the ingredients. I've used unsweetened soy milk, the carrot and garlic and onion, cooked lentils, and tomato paste here. Raw walnuts, rolled oats, and soy sauce. And then you just process until it's fairly smooth, but there is still some texture. Now you could do this in a blender if you don't have a food processor. You're just probably gonna need to stop often and scrape down the sides with either a food processor or a blender. So this is about the texture you wanna look for, and then place the mixture into a medium mixing bowl. Like I said, I really believe that the fresh herbs make this extremely tasty and give it that fall Thanksgiving taste to it. So if you have fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, and fresh oregano and parsley at your disposal, I would highly recommend using it fresh. Of course, if you don't have that, please feel free to use dried and it will work just fine. thyme, the rosemary, and a small amount of cooked lentils that did not go in the food processor. A little bit of salt and pepper to taste, and I'm adding some fresh parsley that I'm just gonna chop up as well. Once you've got all the ingredients in there, just mix it together so it's well combined. And then I'm just putting the mixture into a bread loaf pan lined with parchment paper. And then you just want to make it nice and smooth and even so that it cooks really well and looks beautiful. I'm baking this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 60 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and make the gravy. So I'm chopping my veggies that I need for the gravy, and basically this is a really simple gravy. You can use a different gravy if you have one that you enjoy, but I'm using some vegetable broth to saute, some onion and garlic again. Then I'm adding the carrots and the celery, and I'm sauteing those for another couple of minutes. And then just stir it occasionally. Adding in the tomato paste here, and either a flour, or if you want to keep this gluten-free, an arrowroot powder or a tapioca starch. Adding a little bit of red wine. And then I'm adding some spices like paprika, some more oregano here, and freshly chopped rosemary. And I'm adding in some vegetable broth. And then you're just gonna let this simmer on a lower heat for about 25 minutes. You wanna make sure that you stir it every once in a while because it will begin to stick to the bottom of the pan if you leave it unattended, and you don't want it to burn. Once it's cooked for about 25 minutes, just place it into a high-speed blender and blend it on high for about a minute so you get a nice smooth consistency. Place it back into the pot and you can add salt and pepper to your liking. Once the loaf is done, you can take it out and just let it cool for a bit. This turned out so beautiful. This is probably my favorite lentil loaf I've ever made. The flavors are so good. And then it's gonna be your choice if you wanna top the lentil loaf with the gravy or you just wanna have it on the side as a dipping sauce. We combined both. We topped it and then we also dipped it. And then you can garnish with fresh herbs of your choice. Now, if you like, this is something you can make the night before and then reheat again the day of. And this is the finished product. So tasty with all of those herbs. All right, so that is the Thanksgiving lentil loaf. Around here, we really enjoyed this recipe. It was really fun to make, and I really do feel that fresh herbs are key. If you can't get fresh herbs, of course, use dried, but if you have access to those fresh herbs, do it because it takes everything up to another level. You know, Thanksgiving can be a time where people are just shoveling in food. So know that these recipes have no oil, they're extremely healthy, and they're going to be things that you can feel satisfied and not overstuffed on, and also share good quality food with your family and your friends. So if you enjoyed this recipe, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I will be putting out some more recipes for you guys to make a full vegan Thanksgiving dinner for yourself and for your loved ones. And feeding your family with nourishing foods is always something to be very grateful and very thankful for. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Happy Thanksgiving!